In the state of Colorado, our Constitution was amended a number of years ago to allow people to possess and grow marijuana legally. It's legal under state laws. It's not legal under federal laws. And you have a problem there because at this point where we are right now, the feds are not really prosecuting or investigating a lot of people. That can change, and I think that's going to change with an election. It depends on who comes in as the next president, or if we have the same president. I think that's going to be a big difference. We'll see a lot of changes with this coming election. But for the time being, the feds are just kind of staying out of it, at least here in Colorado. I know in other jurisdictions they're getting involved. But one thing that you have to be aware of is that even if they're not going to prosecute you for violating a controlled substance law, they could still prosecute you for violating a money laundering statute. And money laundering can happen a lot faster than you realize it. Doesn't have to be this very sophisticated scheme that you might think of that you see in the movies. If you are receiving a bunch of cash, for example, and I'll give you a hypothetical here. Let's just say you've got a lot of cash in your pocket. If you end up going to a car dealership and you want to buy a car that costs $15,000, if you give them $15,000 in cash, they're going to file what's called a suspicious activity report and file it with the government. And the FBI actually gets these reports, and they look into it to investigate whether or not somebody is, where the funds are obtained from, and those sorts of things. Now, if they have to file these sorts of documents for cash transactions above $10,000. So here's where structuring becomes an issue, and where people that are, some people can get sort of accidentally involved in a structuring case. So with that $15,000 car purchase with cash, you walk in and you don't want them to file that report. So you give them $9,999 on day one, and the next day you come in and give them the balance. Or you give them two amounts of $7,500, or you give them $5,000 three different times. If the government can come in and look at those transactions and say, you know what, they are actually trying to avoid the reporting requirement, where the car dealership would have to send in a form to say, hey, listen, this citizen here was spending cash in excess of $10,000. If they can prove that you were trying to avoid that, they can hit you with a structuring charge. So how does this relate back to Colorado and the dispensaries? This is typically a cash business. And a lot of the banks in Colorado now won't do business with the dispensaries because it violates federal laws. So people are stuck with having a lot of cash in their pocket and trying to account for it. And so I've seen some people get in trouble this way, and I'm not advising you in any ways on how you should spend cash on that, but I'm just giving you a hypothetical of how dangerous having a lot of cash in your pocket can be, and how the medical dispensaries in Colorado are forcing people to do a cash business and have only cash in their pockets.